Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Tuesday night, lots to get through as typical. I want to talk about some of Mourinho's comments recently, Anthony Martial, Paul Pogba transfers. But the first one I really do want to talk about is Mourinho basically coming out and saying that as far as he's concerned, it's transfers over the youth. Basically coming out and saying that Manchester United youth, they're not going to get the opportunities they would have got under Van Gaal, or they did get under Van Gaal, speaking specifically about Marcus Rashford and Fosu Mensah. Last season, there was nobody else. The freedom of youth, injuries, etc. There was nobody else to talk about. There was nobody else to bring into the team. They got used. This year is a different story. He's saying, I can't use the youth when I've got senior professionals on the bench. I'm not going to use the youth over them. There's the story. Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? I don't agree with it, but this is what we got with Mourinho and we knew we were going to get it. You can't be critical about it. I think things are turning around for Manchester United really, really well. And it's what you're going to get with Jose Mourinho. He's not going to use the youth. And he's pretty blunt about the fact that he's brought Bailly in, Mkhitaryan in, Pogba in, Zlatan in. They're his signings. He's not going to use the youth ahead of his signings, but also he's not going to use them ahead of professionals such as, senior professionals as he classes them. We saw it with Ashley Young the other week when he didn't take Darmian, Valencia was suspended, and we all expected Fosu Mensah to play it right back. He played Ashley Young there. His tendency, his leaning is always going to be to the senior pro over the youth player. But coming out and saying that, this season is different to last year where Van Gaal had a very thin squad. We were talking about this the other day only, that Van Gaal always takes credit for Rashford and what a player Rashford has been, but he stumbled on him. Rashford was behind Will Keane. Will Keane got injured, then he had to use Rashford because there was nobody else. I think what Mourinho is saying is, I don't have to use the youth at the moment. I don't have to use them. I mean, Hipera is saying there, Mark Jose is right. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just telling you what he's saying. And what he's saying is, I don't have to use the youth. If one of my midfielders gets injured, I don't have to play Fosu Mensah because there's nobody else. I've got Schweinsteiger, I've got Schneiderlin, I've got Fellaini, I've got people like that. If my Zlatan's playing every week at the moment, I've got Rooney, I've got other options. I don't have to play Rashford, I don't have to play Fosu Mensah. Twansibi, I don't even have to use him, even though I've got loads of injuries at the back because I've got Jones and Rojo. I've got Smalling back now, I've got Bailly back now, so he doesn't have to use them. So what he's basically saying is, I'm not just going to throw them in there just because Manchester United are about the youth, which is what I would like to see, and I think what some of you'd like to see. But he's saying, I'm not just going to do that. I've got senior professionals. I've got to see to them first, and my transfers come before the youth players. I think what he's also said is interestingly, is sort of what we were talking about the other day, is that maybe this season there won't be a lot of youth used, but he's certainly aware of them. He talked about when it's international breaks and the youth come as part of the training setup with Mickey Butt, and he assesses them and looks at them there. He will use them. I just don't think we're going to see much of them this season. And he spoke quite tellingly about Rashford and how Rashford, he looked into the history of Ryan Giggs' career at Manchester United and how Giggs burst on the scene in his first season, similarly to Rashford. Second season didn't really do much, and then the third season he was the real Giggs. He's sort of alluding to the fact that maybe next season will be Rashford's year. I just hope he does use the youth. I think he has to be aware of it. It's always a stick that the fans will and the press will beat him with, so he can't ignore it. But interestingly, that he has come out and spoken about it, and as a lot of you are saying there, I don't think you can really take a pop at him about it. Certainly in relation to, we have had injuries, but not to the extent of last year, and he was quite rightly said, when Rashford played, when Fosu Mensah played, there wasn't really anybody else behind them. They came on, they had the freedom. United were underachieving. This year, he looks at the squad. We knew this going into the summer. Probably didn't get rid of enough deadwood, but it's a massive squad. It's got about 23, 24 senior professionals in it, most of which are international. So even if you pick up 3 or 4 injuries, let's say, God forbid, Carrick and Herrera got injured, we wouldn't chuck Fosu Mensah in. I mean, I personally might think about it, but he won't, because he's not sold Schneiderlin yet. He's got Fellaini, he's got Schweinsteiger. He's got lots of options in all positions, and that, pretty much explains why he's not using the youth. And at the moment, with the performances the way they are, absolutely fantastic. I just want to say about Michael Carrick as well. I saw Liverpool fans tweeting out earlier that they beat Stoke. I told if you've been following what my bets are, you'll be fully aware of that we're doing quite well at the moment. And I did predict that We would beat Sunderland easily, but I predicted Arsenal were going to beat West Brom. They did. City beat Hull. They did. Chelsea, obviously, Bournemouth. We expected that. And I predicted that Stoke would get turned over by Liverpool at Anfield, which they did. We always want, every game week when we win, we want to make ground up on the people ahead of us. Spurs away to Southampton tomorrow. If we can make some points up on Spurs, then that makes it a decent week. But I'm not concerned about the fact that Liverpool and Arsenal won. They are desperate to win every week at the moment because they know what's going to happen. The inevitable is coming. We're catching them and we're going to keep winning and we will finish above them. I've been saying it for weeks. It will definitely happen. So I'm not concerned that Liverpool have won or Arsenal have won. But going back to what I saw Liverpool fans saying that Jordan Henderson's the most underrated player in the Premier League at the moment. Jordan Henderson is absolute crap. Not a very good player. Don't rate him. Wouldn't want him anywhere near a Manchester United shirt. Wouldn't even swap him for Fellaini. That's how bad I think Henderson is. But on that sort of player, where they're on about underrated players, Michael Carrick. I mean, come on. I mean, we've waxed lyrical about Michael Carrick on this channel for a long time, and I know a lot of you love him, but he is the glue that binds Manchester United. Absolutely superb player. I think our win rate with him involved this season is something like 86%, which is the highest of any Premier League player, and it's no surprise at all that he produces the goods and, no Carrick, no party. We knew about it for a long time. And I think, Jose sort of messed up with that. I don't know. When you think about Carrick was only really starting to be played in league games in November time. What was going on there? Well, first few games of the season, not even using him. What was going on there? Ridiculous. But he has stumbled on it now, which is great. Very, very happy about that. Let me just sort out my camera angle as I move position. Michael Carrick, just wanted to give him a shout out. The next thing I want to talk about is Anthony Martial. Mourinho coming out again, basically saying that, I had a player called Mkhitaryan here at Manchester United. He wasn't performing because Armenian football, Bundesliga, very, very different to the Premier League, and he needed to learn how to train and how to play for a different coach, i.e. Mourinho. That happened, it worked out, and he's now playing very, very well. He's replicated that with Martial and said, Anthony Martial is very, very young, but he's playing for a different coach. He's not used to this. He had a lot of freedom under Van Gaal. He basically said it was slow, passive football, trying to work in opportunities for Anthony Martial. This, under Jose, as I said in the summer, he will let his wingers, wide midfielders, even his forwards, he'll let them express themselves, but you've got to work hard within the system. And I think Anthony Martial probably, isn't used to that, having to work as hard. But two things will happen. I hope the first thing will happen, that he will get better, which I think he has under the last few weeks, and he will become part of the first team plans, because I think he's one of the best players up and coming players in Europe. Or he won't, and Jose will get rid, like he is going to get rid of Memphis and Schneidlin. Somebody messaged me today saying, Sevilla want Anthony Martial. What do you think about that? I said, well, I think most football clubs in the world would want Anthony Martial. He's not suddenly become a bad player. I think the problem with him at the moment is he's not adapting to Mourinho's system. I think he will do, but if he doesn't, there won't be a shortage of takers. There'll be loads of people. I want him to stay. I'm a big, big fan of his. Isaac Bishop says we're not making top four. Why? Why are we not making top four? Where's this negativity coming from? We weren't getting top four about a month ago. We've won our last 4 league games. We'll beat Borough on Saturday. City have got Liverpool. So when we win, we'll make points up on at least one of those. We've got Liverpool in the middle of January at home in the Premier League. We can make points on them there. I mean, people saying we're not going to get top four just because Arsenal scraped a home win against West Brom and Liverpool battered a poor Stoke side. I'm not concerned at all. From where we were a month ago to where we are now, we are breathing down the necks of the top four, and we will get it. We are gradually getting better and better. I've got no concerns about it, and I cannot understand why any Manchester United fans would be slightly negative about the fact that we're going to get top four just because other teams ahead of us are winning. We're only in December. It makes me laugh. We are only half an hour. I'm reading another comment there. We are only in December and there's loads and loads to go. A lot of people asking me why I'm late. Do I really need to justify that to you? No, I don't think I do. I don't really want to go into it. I apologise for being late, but that's all you're going to get. So what? Next point I want to talk about is Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba, Mourinho's come out and said the best midfielder in the world. I'm glad he said it. Some people have jumped on it. Typically, Manchester United haters as per usual. Still people saying £89 million waste of money. If you watched the game yesterday, or actually, let's be honest, if you've watched the last few games with Pogba, he is dictating the midfield. He is running the midfield, running at players, getting hold of the ball, good passes. He is slowly becoming more and more used to the Premier League and how he needs to play. Immune from criticism on the United stand pretty much from the start. He didn't have a great start to the season. It was sort of like his debut was very good at home to Southampton. Then he had a couple of off games, then he had a couple of okay games, and that went on and on. But was always immune to criticism because 23 years of age, £89 million, world record transfer fee. That's not his fault. I don't understand why people would judge a player on his transfer fee when he isn't worth £89 million. We paid that because we're Manchester United. We've terminally underachieved for 3 years, and we signed a player that Real Madrid wanted, and Real Madrid couldn't afford to go over £60 million, which is what his value probably was. And we paid £30 million over the odds because we're not in the Champions League. We should have no right to sign that sort of player, one of the best players in world football. And we did it. And I think he's getting better and better and better. Just like Manchester United. I mean, Pogba's more or less a reflection of Manchester United because it's like they are going to be fantastic. Both are going to be fantastic. But it's taken a little bit of time to get used to the new surroundings. But with every game, we get slightly better and better. So, yeah, I'm very glad that Jose Mourinho came out and said that about Pogba. Also said that Pogba's not a goal scorer. He's the best midfielder in the world. He's not there to score goals, folks. I mean, he assisted a goal yesterday. He's not there to score goals. He's a midfielder. Midfielders aren't there to score loads of goals. He's not even your sort of Ozil sort of player who's there to create goals. He's a midfielder. He's there to boss midfields, win the ball back. He's sort of a hybrid of a Patrick Vieira and a Paul Scholes. You know, he's that sort of player. He's there to break up the play, win the ball, play the passes, create things, shoot, score the odd goal here, there, and everywhere. So, brilliant player, and I can't think of... I've said it a couple of weeks ago. I can't think of a midfielder better than him in the Premier League. I think he's absolutely superb. Yaya Toure probably is the sort of player that could push him, but he's on the downward slope. I want to personally say about Mkhitaryan as well. I've heard some people saying that Mane's better and Ozil's better. Mkhitaryan is... I mean, I knew about this anyway because he was one of the top players in Europe last year. It's taken him a little while to adapt to the Premier League, but now he has adapted and he's come back from that injury. He's just going to get better and better in the Premier League. And for me, he's one of only 3 world-class midfielders in the Premier League. That's Hazard, David Silva and Mkhitaryan. You know, Mane's a good player. Ozil's quite creative. But De Bruyne is a good player. But I'm not talking about goal scorers again. I'm talking about creators. David Silva, Eden Hazard, Mkhitaryan. For me, they're the 3 best in the Premier League. You know, Mane's been a decent signing for Liverpool. I'll give him that. But he's not on that sort of level. De Bruyne, he's done all right for Man City, I'll admit, but he's more of a goal scorer. He's not really a creator. So, I mean, Antek said De Bruyne there, but I think Eden Hazard is a very, very good player. If I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be very concerned how he had a great season 2 years ago, then he downed tools for a season, and now he's happy again, so he's playing football again. But that's their problem. David Silva, as much as he plays for City, very, very consistent, very, very talented player, creator, very good player. I'm talking about out-and-out creators. Now, I know Arsenal fans will be saying, well, what about Ozil? Well, I've watched Ozil probably 90 minutes. I've watched Ozil probably about 10 times over the last couple of years. And most of those have been in games against Manchester United or big games, and he totally disappears. So that's why Ozil's not in there for me. But Mkhitaryan, we've only really seen a glimpse of him, and already he's assisting, he's scoring goals. He's going to get better and better. He reminds me a lot of Eden Hazard. And somebody just said there about Sanchez, Aguero. I'm not talking about goal scorers. I'm talking about your traditional, wide, creative player. And that's where, for me, there's only 3. David Silva, Hazard and Mkhitaryan. Mane would fall into that category, but he's not top class at all. Kev McGee on about Mourinho inviting Sir Alex Ferguson into training. I find that baffling that it's come out that Moyes and Van Gaal marginalised Sir Alex Ferguson, basically didn't have him at the club. Yeah, he was turning up at games but didn't want any input, didn't want him around the players. Mourinho openly saying that I brought him back because it's Sir Alex Ferguson, it's great to have him around. I think that's a real positive thing that he's done there, and I totally agree with it. Sir Alex Ferguson, why would you not have that sort of sponge to take information from? It is madness, and it's arrogant. I mean, I don't want to talk about Moyes anymore. He came back yesterday, we stuffed them, and we got the 3 points. But I don't know how you live your life, but I if there's a decision to be made, I'm more than happy to make the decision and put it on my shoulders. But if there's people with experience out there I can take advice from or get their opinion on, I'm going to do it. And to not tap into Sir Alex Ferguson it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Brad Gamester says, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. If you're a big fan of Star Wars, which I am, and I'm sure a lot of people are, what a year it's been. Unbelievable year. And what annoys me about that is Christmas Eve, she had the heart attack. Apparently hadn't been resuscitated for 10 minutes, so you're thinking, well, she's going to die, isn't it? But then it comes out that she's stable, she's doing okay, and then 3 days later she's dead. Princess Leia. Unbelievable year, but rest in peace. And ridiculous, isn't it? But I on that, very quickly, because it's not football related, this is going to happen more and more. It's not. People are saying, 2016, the worst year ever. Well, I think, as somebody tweeted last week, I'd say 1939 to 1945 was probably had worse years. But what's happening is this will happen more and more. 2017 could be like 2016 because celebrity only really took off in the 60s, 70s. So what we're getting now is all these people that we grew up with, they're getting to that age between 60 and 90 where people do start to die. So that's what's happening in the main. It's people just starting to die who were part of that first celebrity wave, and that will continue for the next few years now, well, for the rest of our lives, because that's what happened. You can make your predictions, but it's sad but true. Mourinho's doing to Fergie what Fergie did with Samat, says Moley, embracing the challenge of hitting his hearts rather than distancing himself from them. Very good point. Linux says, Mark, you happy with Memphis leaving? He's obviously going, isn't he? We've discussed it to death. Pardon the pun to what we were talking about before, but no, he's got to go. He can't even get on the bench now. And I think that reflects on you as an individual. You must do better. You must be doing better in training. You must force yourself in. I caused a bit of problems yesterday actually because we'd won the game against Sunderland. Fellaini comes on again, and I tweeted something out which I've now deleted because I felt it was inflammatory, and I don't ever really want to do that outright. And I basically said, Mourinho needs to stop bringing Fellaini on for the last few minutes. You're never going to make the vast majority of Manchester United fans, and certainly not me, like Fellaini. He's just not good enough. Stop bloody bringing him on for the last 3 or 4 minutes. Because what he's trying to do is, he's a stubborn man, Mourinho, and that's fantastic. Sir Alex Ferguson was as well. But what he's trying to do with Fellaini, he's trying to turn us. He's trying to feed him into this psyche of United doing quite well at the moment. You can't do it over 90 minutes because we wouldn't be winning games. So what he's doing is he chucks him on for the last few minutes to make us subconsciously think, well, Fellaini's on the pitch. Fellaini's part of these plans. Just get rid of that twat. Really get rid of him. I want him gone. And I think that's one mistake that Mourinho keeps making with Fellaini. And I don't know what it is. And I don't really want to talk about it too much because the blood pressure keeps going up. But he's a poor player. Just not a Manchester United player. Not a Manchester United player at all. He offers absolutely nothing. There we go. Sandeep says, any Fellaini transfer news? I wish there was, but there isn't. Somebody on about City taking Griezmann in their dreams. Griezmann is like James Rodriguez. If we want them, they will be at Manchester United. It doesn't care what anybody thinks, whether Chelsea or City. We've got the connections with Mourinho, agents, etc., with players like Pogba. If we want Griezmann, we'll get Griezmann. That's going to happen because Manchester United are going to be in the Champions League in the summer. Man City aren't going to do anything this year that's going to make them a better, more attractive proposition than us. We've got the history, we've got the better manager, we've got the better club, we've got the better players, we've got the better fans. We'll be in the Champions League, probably so will City. He ain't going to get to City. If Man United wants him, he's coming to Manchester United. Thanks for reading my comments, says Brad. No worries. Did you like Rogue One, Mark? Says Guy Griffiths. Brilliant film. Hussam says that Mourinho has blocked Fellaini's move to Milan. Well, you know what? If there is truth in that, then it is stupid. But no manager gets it totally right. Peak says Fellaini helps us win the FA Cup. Trees do live a long time. Stephen McMurray, you're very right. Lindelof. Some people. We're going to do a transfer show tomorrow at 8:30, and it will be at 8:30 tomorrow. Don't worry about that. It will. I'm not going to go into why we were late tonight if you're watching live, because that's personal. But we will be live tomorrow night talking transfer. So I don't want to go into too much other than to say Lindelof, as we said last week, as we said at the weekend, is a done deal, and he will be a Manchester United player by this time next week, and he's going to be wearing the number 2 shirt. City, Liverpool at the weekend, says Kyle F8. I think Liverpool will win that. I think City are pretty much bottlers still. They've got an array of talent that they're always going to go to somewhere like Hull and win like they did last night. But I think Liverpool will beat them. Best result for us is obviously a draw, but I think Liverpool will beat City quite comfortably. I just think they've got no spine. Didier Deschamps did cause issues with Martial, you're right. And Mark, what's your opinion on Arsenal Fan TV? I don't watch it. I've got no time to watch other Manchester United channels, so I'm certainly not going to waste my life watching Arsenal fans. God, there's enough of them on Twitter. Ray Carl Brown Amori says, Mark, top 4 is hard, bro. We need to beat other teams above us for top 4. Why are people worried about top 4? The reason United aren't in a title race is because of the points we personally dropped at home to Stoke, Burnley, West Ham, Arsenal, and away to Everton because of Fellaini. That was self-induced. It wasn't because we got played off the park by anybody. The only team to do that was Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. We've dropped around 10 points this season. It's our fault we're not in the top 4 or challenging for the title. However, it's December. We're very, very close to top 4 now. We've got a massive opportunity this weekend to beat Borough, and we'll make ground on either Liverpool or City, maybe others if they drop points. We've got Liverpool coming to Old Trafford in a couple of weeks, so we can beat them and make 3 points on them. It's there for us to do, and as I keep saying, it's only bloody December. People are talking as if like everybody else above us is going to keep winning. They're not going to keep winning. We are comfortably... We're in a far better position than we were a month ago. We've won 4 good games in a row. It'll be 5 at the weekend. We've got West Ham a week. It was a week last night. We can win that. And then we've got Liverpool in mid-January with the FA Cup sort of breaking that up. So I'm confident we'll get top 4. I've got no concerns about it. And it is only December. It's only December. There's 4 months to go. We'll be fine. The league, we can't win the league, I don't think. But second place even, we can get that. So let's just see how it goes. It's there to be won. Spurs are playing their game tomorrow, so hopefully they won't win, and then we've made points up on them in this game week. Arsenal always in the top 4, says Peaks. I'd expect Arsenal to be in the top 4, yeah. And we will beat Liverpool at Old Trafford, says Ronak, which I agree with. What if Borough beat us, says MUFC 20 times. Anything's possible in football. Sunderland were quite surprisingly good. We were a bit cold in the first half yesterday, but we should be beating Borough tomorrow on Saturday, and I would fully expect us to do that. This is Skype Goldbridge. As you'll note, I haven't Skyped anybody because that was part of the reason I was a little bit late. Massive problems. But we will do it again later in the week where you can all Skype in, and I apologise for that. I've just quickly gone through some stuff that I wanted to talk about because that's another reason why we were late. When I can't get Skype to work and it's meant to be your show, I had to do a quick bit of research about what to talk about. So we will get that sorted out. Tomorrow night's a transfer show. That's live at 8:30, so join us for that. Thursday night, 8:30 again, a little bit of a surprise show. Watch out for that. Friday night, 8:30 will be the preview for the Borough game. Saturday, we'll be live at 2 o'clock, an hour before kickoff, with the watch along all the way through till full time, and then a match reaction. Sunday is New Year's Day, so we won't be doing Sunday night live at 8:30 on New Year's Day because it's a bank holiday, and you should spend it with your family, and you should be writing your list for 2017. However, what we will do on Sunday is a United Ramble live. Get Robbie on it, shall we? And we'll do something on then. And then Monday night again, back with a watch along for the West Ham game. So every day. We're back now. I think you've had content every day anyway, even if we've not been live. So everything's going on. Do get involved. And I think I've covered everything I wanted to chat to. Somebody I'm worried about. Mark, what are your thoughts on playing Liverpool? I'm a little nervous about dropping points to those Scalfers, says Ahmed Emma. If Liverpool come to Old Trafford and play us off the park and win the game, then we'll have to take it on the chin. But I've got no concerns that we won't beat them at Old Trafford. I don't think Liverpool are that good. I think Klopp has a decent system. They're not going to win the league. We'll beat them at Old Trafford. I'm totally confident that we will beat them at Old Trafford. Mourinho will know how to deal with Klopp, and we will beat them at Old Trafford because we've got a better midfield than them. We've got a striker that can cause them problems. My only concern is we need to start. We've got the brilliant midfield with Carrick, Herrera and Pogba. We've got Zlatan, the figurehead. The back four, whatever anybody thinks, what is our best back four? Because at the moment it's doing quite well with a back four you'd never pick. But what I do like is that we've finally got we've got a right back who's doing quite well with Valencia. We've now got a left back who's got balance and poise in Blind, whoever the centre backs are. And then what we need to sort out to really beat the better teams is our right midfielder and our left midfielder. Mata and Lingard did okay yesterday, but there's okay and then there's Mkhitaryan and Martial on the wings, and that's what we need to aspire to. Mkhitaryan, I think, will come in on the right and do really well. Martial might not be ready for that yet, so we might have to play Rooney or Mata, but we should still beat them. We should still beat them at Old Trafford, and if we win that game, we're comfortable. We're really comfortable. I'm confident with the Manchester United. I think we really should be confident. We need to take it into the new year. I think 2017 can be a fantastic year for Manchester United. So stick with us, stick with the club, keep getting involved, and I really look forward to seeing you all at 8:30 tomorrow night. And I do apologise for being late. Sometimes things run away with you, and hence no Skype calls. But we'll get that sorted and get you all back on, because it's this show is nothing with you and nothing without you. No, that's wrong. We're nothing without you, everything with you. Somebody just said, what happened to Fan TV? Yeah, less said the better. And Martial is our best player, give him the number 7. Well, the battle for the number 7 starts here, because Memphis will go in January. Who would you want? Get comments in below. For me, Mkhitaryan or Rashford or Martial. They're the 3 front runners. Thanks everyone for watching. Back tomorrow at 8:30 with a thorough transfers. We'll go through every little player, possibles, slight possibles, but